And all right. Hello, everybody. Today we are talking to Mohini, or how do you say your other Ooakosimo? How do you say it?
Ooakosimo. It's in Tagalog, it means, yes, I am Mo.
Oh, cool. Ooakosimo. Yes, I am Mo. I am not Mo, but this is Mo over
Oo.
here. Mo is over there. She is an artist, and she is one of the artists that was selected for the Superpowers 3 and has her show on in CryptoVoxels and also on Near Hub. And we are just going to find out a little bit more about Mo. So, first of all, maybe just tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into making art and things like that.
Hmm, don't remember. I was just making stuff. But then I never really, like, when people would introduce me, when some friends would introduce me to their friend, they would say, she's an artist, but she doesn't like to be called one. But they don't know. Because I grew up in a different, like, homeschooled and different kind of culture from here, like in my country.
So
It
you
was
grew up homeschooled. That's
yeah.
interesting.
What was the question again?
You grew up
Oh, I
homeschooled.
started.
I was just saying that was interesting. Did you do a lot of art when you were homeschooled?
Yes, we were drawing, had drawing classes and music, a lot of instruments, classical guitar, drums, congos, and um, guitar and piano,
Wow.
ukulele. Recently, melodica, I found it's like really nice,
Did you
fun.
did your parents teach you all those instruments, or did you have some other teacher come in?
It was because our parents didn't want us to go to regular system of schooling, so them and their friends, they made the school for us. And
Oh,
so we were classmates with kids of their friends also. It was like a small community. We were all vegetarian. The first time I went to outside school was university. I just took placement exam and everyone were surprised. Oh, you passed it? Yeah. I don't know how.
so I know some of what did you do in university? What did you take in university? Did you take art in university?
Communication arts. I was aiming for architecture, but my math is bad. Very bad. And then my father, and then I was also gonna take up like music and then uh, as a second course, but I didn't even review because I didn't know it was the last day of the university, and I told my father, I think I want to try the outside school. He said, okay, this it's the last day today for exams. And I passed because he said put communication arts as the first choice, so the as the second choice, just in case, because music you don't have to go to school. If you like, just if I saw you hugging your guitar, then maybe.
Cool, that's interesting. So how did you
but
stumble into
but but
blockchain?
in but in the university, I was mainly focused because it was easy. The communication arts, I was just mainly focusing on mountaineering club because I kind of like the people there. It was different from the people that was in communication arts. They were a bit theatric, like, I don't know. It was it was like a lot of alpha male people.
Mountaineering club? Did you say mountaineering? Like climbing a
Yeah,
mountain?
yeah, climbing mountains. We were training every week. We do pack runs, and then a lot of them were surprised because it was not common to have vegetarian in the mountaineering club. They said you might not be able to last in the mountains.
Oh, I'm sure there's a lot of vegetarians climbing around in mountains. Like, what about all those Tibetan monks and things like that? They live in the
Yeah.
mountains. So there you go. So how did you get into Web3 and blockchain and NFTs? How did
Oh,
you get into
it's
that?
because of Jason.
Really?
Yeah, because before he was here in the Philippines for a while, and then I brought him around to some of the events that were doing noise art and like noise performance art. And then he after he left, we were still in touch in WhatsApp, and then I assisted his friend was producing an esports documentary because it was the first esports in the Southeast Asian Games. So after that, we were in a group chat, and the project didn't push through because something happened. And so in the group chat of there, I was spamming my art that I was because after I got out of psych ward, I was always walking around outside the farm, and then I would make all these little things in the phone, making like poster or something or like meme, but art just as therapy when I'm in the queuing in the bank or waiting outside. Like I will sit down and just make something, take pictures, and then remix it.
Cool. So just
And
for
then I was spamming it in the group chat, and then he said, maybe maybe you want to try Rarible. It's like you will just upload your stuff there and you will need some tokens. So I will send you. He sent me my first $2 of Ethereum
cool. So just for the
for
people who
gas.
don't know, Jason is actually my son, who his name is Vandal. Just for the people who will watch this, if they don't know who Jason is.
Okay.
So it's a small world because Jason actually introduced me to Mo. So and now Mo is here on our interview about the Ina Dao superpowers. So she has this great installation of this physical piece that she made, um, which is called, what's it called?
It's an oscillator. It's like it was initially a pulse generator. I was just trying to make something to make a sound, and I didn't understand how to make it. So I just followed something that was generating a pulse but just with the LED. And then I started replacing the parts. Like I replaced one of the LED with another resistor and then connected the speaker because I want to make my own DIY modular. Initially, I was gonna make just circuit bend, but I got a little bit bored, and it was not really bored because didn't understand it that much, and I was too scared to destroy the toy pianos that I got and started to get attached to the toy pianos. So I didn't destroy it. So I said I'll just make my own from scratch
Cool.
on circuit. And then just replace the resistors with the potentiometers. And then I made two so that the other one will affect the other one. And then yeah. And
Interesting.
then make some noise.
So yeah, if you want to see how they work, you can just watch her video on in CryptoVoxels or Near Hub from the Ina Dao gallery. There all the videos and images are up there so you can see how it works. Do you have it with you? Do you have it there? Is it
Yeah, it's there, but I have to get the whole.
is it are you on your computer or your phone?
I'm on my computer,
Okay. Okay, don't worry about it.
but
I just
I was because I found some casing where I will DIY some found tin cans. But then I keep changing my mind, and then I found this. I'm
Uh-oh. What do
gonna
you-
add it to the thing once I put it in the case.
Oh, wow. That sounds
So
interesting.
that it's like and then can connect it to a mixer, and then it will make some sonic experience.
So you have an NFT of your experience. I can't remember because you were thinking of um including the physical piece in the NFT. Did you end up doing that or?
Yeah, I for now I just put it for sale, but it's like a representation of the physical, because I didn't want to rush like finishing it. So I just put it there, and then if it gets bought, I'll like get motivated to start hurrying, but like in a happy way. But if not, also I plan to use it for myself if no one wants it, because it's
Are you
gonna
gonna
be
make a
awesome.
performance? Are you gonna do a
Huh?
perform Are you gonna do a performance with it?
Oh yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm usually just doing the visuals for them, the modular synth groups. That's why I was inspired to make also my own. And then I'll try to put the table also on the side when they're performing, and then jam.
And add your own sound to the performance, sneaking the sound in, right? So
Vandalism.
how did you come up with this idea of making this thing? How did you come
Because
up with it?
when when I was a child, my father's friend Lirio Salvador, he does metal assemblage and junk art, where some sprockets of bicycles he puts together and then makes them make sound, or even with body contact. It was mainly called circuit bending, but then it was sculptures that were making sounds, and they were made from scrap metals and spoons, and seeing that as a child was like very magical. Like with the cartoon Avatar, there's like a airbender, water bender. This one is bending circuits and electricity, and then at a low voltage where you can touch it and affect the sound also. I'm I want to make like that, but I'm not that like good at reading too many things. I just have to put it all together and see what happens.
So did you follow instructions when you made this thing, or did you just
some
kind of
parts
play
I
around?
some parts I followed instructions, and then some parts I showed picture to people that were doing the DIY to ask for help and advice because it was faster. And at one point, I asked my friend to come over and look at what I did, and then give some advice. So yeah, so it was constant communication with different people that were suggesting stuff to replace or add, like with the wiring connecting some parts of the circuit to another part of a circuit. It was fun doing
So,
it.
so did your inspiration, your father's friend, has he seen it yet?
No, he had an accident many years ago, like 10 years ago, and then he got so when he was, because during that time he became a bit richer than before, and then he was all his art was like being sold out all over the world after like 30 years of in the dark, no one acknowledging his works from when we were children. And then he got famous, or everything was being sold out in Hong Kong, in the States, and in Italy. They brought their whole band there. Some guy paid for a band even so that all of them can travel there and perform. And then he was like 1 month away from a residency in New York, and then he got hit and run by a motorcycle
Oh,
and got paralyzed and almost dead.
oh,
And he was he put up a small gallery that was like a kitchen also, where people are circuit bending. They're teaching them art. Most of the kids that were around there were always hanging out there, and he would always cook food, vegetarian food also. And then so they're always there. Everyone was always there. It was like a home. And then he got hit and run in front of that place. So a lot of them are still like doing. I mean, they all had the sandata, which was what he calls his artworks, his sculptures.
what does he
So
call
his band, sandata. He made a band. Yeah, sandata. It's like a weapon
them?
in
Okay.
Tagalog. It's a weapon, but it's an instrument. It looks like some kind of spaceship, like
Wow.
strainers and graters and pots.
Wow. I'm gonna have to look him up. It's funny because Jason showed me, does he have like videos on YouTube or anything? Because Jason was showing me of a guy who was making things like what you were talking about, and I thought maybe it was him, but I don't know. Like, does
Just a few, but most of his because back then sometimes they would be at the house because when they need help with the transporting the because he put up Lirio Salvador put up a band that was called Elemento. And then Elemento was the band that he put for so that his bandmates will use the instruments that he sculpted from junk materials.
wow, that's
So
really
they were
interesting. So
yeah,
you made your piece sort of like because he was your inspiration kind of thing.
yeah. But
So,
it's far from what his I
so
think.
he's still like he's he's just paralyzed. Like he hasn't been affected mentally or anything like that.
I
So it,
slightly that doesn't sometimes we visit him is he doesn't really remember or recognize
oh,
or
okay.
react much. I don't know if it's just because he couldn't move or
Okay.
but he's been like almost a vegetable like from when they revived him.
That's terrible. That's too bad. I'm really sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
But I think it's really great that you took him as your inspiration to make your piece of art.
So sometimes they would be in lineups with the pop bands
Oh,
in
really?
some bars, and then you would start like they're like all wearing like stockings in the head or suddenly coughing in the in the in the microphone for 5 minutes, and then someone rolling on the ground, and then sometimes it would cause like riot in some of the malls that invited them, and then they never get invited again. It was like mainly like political statements and or environmental topics,
Right,
but in a conceptual way.
right.
When
Wow.
we were kids, my father was taking me and my brother to those performances.
Wow. Wow, that sounds like you had a really interesting childhood and a really interesting education there. So, so with this piece, um, I think it would be really interesting if you did a performance with it. So,
Yeah,
if you
I
ever
kind of
do,
tried to do performance during 24 crypto. I
oh,
recorded a little bit, but
oh, okay.
I didn't or like organize the details or infos. But I recorded a bit, but I want it was just a test for me also, like if it was working because I put delay. And then I asked a friend to build a delay for me so that I will just focus on the oscillators. I didn't I didn't test it yet, but I will connect it, and then I will include the delay also and just add him as collaborator when I finish putting them in casing,
Wow.
so
Well,
that we can
you'll
also.
be filming that, right? So we can put it up on the website
Yes,
or something, like, so we can show.
definitely. I always like spam what I'm doing.
So maybe tell people a little bit more about what else you do other than making oscillators and things like that. What other things are you doing?
Working on a project called Hunting the Glitch, where but recently resting, but also making art in counterparty Bitcoin. So there's several projects there that are interesting and has a nice like little communities that are like, when you're like in each other's Telegram group chats, it's like some kind of different living rooms or offices of people.
So you do a lot of online stuff, but you also do in real life stuff, right? You go out and what do you do in real life in terms of art stuff?
I do live visuals for event that's like usually, what is that called, modular synthesizer community meetups, when they're doing their community meetups at bars. They invite me because no one else does it yet, I think, here. So I'm doing live visuals for them, and then I'm like first one in, last one out. when when everyone's like do performing, there's like sometimes 12 performances in the lineup, and then by the end of the day, like it finishes at like 3 a.m., and then I think I'm becoming a monster. Like have to learn like to switch to an like I reset every time there's a new performer. I reset and then I make a new one really fast, and then I make it move.
Like a visual that goes behind the performer kind of thing, like a
Yeah, like I don't know, BJ, but it's live composed.
oh, cool, cool. So oh, can't believe I forgot what I was going to say. Uh um so you're doing that and you're working on stuff on um counterparty, which is Bitcoin, and then you work in Near and you work in Ethereum and Tezos and all the different, you're just exploring all the different blockchains.
Yes, all the different blockchains and all the like different projects of different people, and all the different blockchains. It's really nice because sometimes like you need some tokens for transaction fee at another chain, and then exploring the bridges. Sometimes it's scary, like connecting the wallet, and but I guess that's part of being like in this wild west thing, and it's so crazy, like connecting wallets, and then you're not sure. But then if you don't, nothing. It's boring also. Like, what are you just gonna sit? So just the pressing buttons, sign.
Oh, yeah. Well, remember, people, just be careful out there. She's talking
Yeah.
about connecting wallets and things like that. And um, I got scammed. So if I can get scammed, anybody can get scammed.
Yeah, it's
Just careful, everybody.
just don't click link from strangers. I
No.
have classmates like Mr. Yak or Yoni or Desktop Commando. They were like asking each other like, is this legit or is this safe? Did you try connect to this already? So it's also part of building like something with others in the space where you get to look out for each other.
Yeah,
And
that's for
sometimes
sure.
even when you're like drunk and posting, and then someone will DM you, oh, okay.
So what would you say to a young artist, especially because Dow is a female centric community, a Dow centered on female. What would you say to young female artists who are trying to get into crypto but don't even know where to start? Like, what would you tell them?
Don't click links from strangers, first of all. And I guess asking around, like before, if you don't know who to ask, like maybe stalk people and like Twitter and see if their posts seem like they're a logical and safe person to ask. Or maybe, and then, yeah, because if you ask in public, you will get spammed. And get spammed for breakfast in
And
Discord.
what about like the actual making of the art? Like, do you
The
think,
actual making of the
yeah,
art.
like what kind of advice would you give
Nice and easy,
artists? Nice
fun.
and easy?
Nice and easy, fun. It has to be fun because if it gets dragging, what's the point? I mean, yeah, sometimes like there's days if you can't, like if you don't know what to do, like, or you're stuck, I guess it's like a sign that you should rest from it, like
Hmm.
find something else to do. Or I guess,
Take a break,
yeah,
basically.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, that's really interesting. I didn't know. I like the story of your inspiration of the was he your like music teacher when you were little? Like, did he teach you music when you went to school?
No, but it was another friend of father that was like in a punk band that he taught me how to play guitar and the scales, like
Wow.
the whole tone, half half half. It took me a while to understand it. There was like five of us in the classroom, and then they all had to help me understand it for like an hour. Because they all
Wow.
already understood it. I didn't. And then, yeah.
Interesting. Interesting.
But yeah, their performance also, my teacher, Bobby Balingit, he had like a band that was called The Woods. And then sometimes our father would take us, but we would be far in the back because whenever they perform, there's like a wild riot, mosh pit happening.
So
There's
your father
always
took
like
you to mosh pits when you were little.
yeah, from far away, like and then because they're also always at the house, sometimes they're like getting like freelance stuff to do, and they were mostly straight edge punks that were like also into like reflexology and acupuncture on the side. They were doing those things and making art in
Wow.
the 80s. Yeah.
That's really amazing. Wow, you had a really inspired childhood. Sure, for
Some
sure.
of them taught me one of them taught me how to play chess, was a guitarist, like to play chess
Really?
and
Wow.
ukulele.
Wow. Interesting.
There's many people at the house all the time before when we were kids. They were just passing by eating lunch there or working on some things like doing what is that airbrush,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
clothesline is full of cloth, then there's someone doing airbrush, then they
Wow.
because my father was manufacturing some surf shorts and polos or backpacks, all sorts of stuff, so they were sometimes getting like custom cloths.
Wow. You had a very
We're
interesting.
also watching some people create making sandals and how to make patterns for bags and shirt when we were kids. We're
Wow.
playing with the threads and whatever.
So you were born into an artist, you were born to be an artist. You had it your whole life
Long
surrounding
ago.
you.
And I was so far away. Oh, superstar ba yun? That song.
Well, is there anything else you want to say to anybody or because we're running out of time? No, we have like about 5 minutes left, I guess. But like, is there anything else you want to say about your work or
I
um
want to thank a lot of people, but I didn't write them down, so I will not say names. But I wrote them down in the descriptions
yes.
because they're all like vital to my survival in the space in sanity.
Well, that's great. That's
Thank
really
you.
and I really like your piece. I think it's really different and refreshing and interesting. And I'm glad you could come and talk to us a bit about it so that other artists can see, how
Uh,
other
yeah,
artist is doing things and living their life. And, so thank you for,
thank you also for giving me the funding to for to like try finish it already again because it's been like I started it last year, then I stopped because I didn't prioritize the budget for it. And
yeah.
so I just left it hanging in the shelf, got broken, and then I did it again. And then, yeah.
Yeah, it's not easy being an artist, that's for sure. It's not like you're doing it to make a lot of money. Then you would be a lawyer or a banker or something like that if you wanted to make a lot, or yeah, or a stockbroker or, you know.
Yes.
For sure.
Oh,
So, yeah, okay. Tell me just your last kind of sentence. Give me one last sentence of inspiration for future young female artists, if you can.
beauty is in the eye of the tiger, like Tiger Khan. Ah, that's good, right?
Very good. Thank you very much. I'm
The
going to
more, the
stop
merrier.
recording and
Okay.
for that.